Pershing will put it in play. And Gene Lang will stay in the end zone, and the Broncos will have it at their 20. Early in the second quarter, because we did not have facilities with electrical problem, we could not bring you this replay of a second down goal to go in the 49ers. The pass was to Earl Cooper, if you recall, and we could not replay it, but it was a good call. Earl Cooper will come down with the ball in the back of the end zone, and as you can see, he will be juggling the ball, never having possession, all the way, and takes it out of bounds. We recorded that in New York, fed it to Denver. Because of our technical problem at the time, we could not bring it to you. First down and 10, the Broncos at their 20-yard line. Elway, Vance Johnson, and the speedy rookie tailback from Arizona with an 8-yard pickup. Out close to the 28-yard line. Vance Johnson is not big. He's 5'11", 174 pounds, but he does have great speed and literally an all-purpose back at Arizona. I mentioned earlier he was an all Pac-10 tailback back in 1982 as a sophomore. The Broncos, because of his size, have moved him to wide receiver. On second down and 2, Winder gets about a yard out of it. It'll be third down and short for the Broncos as we look at the first quarter numbers. And fairly close. Denver, however, really took charge defensively. They were especially impressive when the 49ers had a first down goal to go inside the 5-yard line, and they held them for 4 downs. For the 49ers, only 59 yards passing. O.J. touched on it earlier. Last year, in their 15-1 season, they were an explosive first quarter and first half team. Such has not been the case this year. Third down, less than a yard. Winder, first down out over the 30-yard line to the 32. Sammy Winder doing all the rough work for the Broncos tonight, as he did a year ago when he went for over 1,150 yards. Missed all of the preseason with an emergency appendectomy, but has come on strong. Leading rusher for the Broncos into tonight, but they utilize 4 backs, perhaps more running backs than any other team in football. They bring them all in there. Wilhite, Lang, Sewell, the rookie from Oklahoma. First down, Denver. Elway rifles the pass to Watson, can't handle. Defensive coverage there by Eric Wright. Oh, he had something on that one.
He had a lot of heat on that one, and Eric Wright did a terrific job staying with the receiver and breaking up that pass. Steve Watson tries to fight away from him and break to the outside, but Wright stays right with him. Look at that. I don't think Eric Wright is concerned with Watson getting deep. Nice defensive play.
Hard-hitting game, extremely well played tonight. We've had 1 penalty flag. That's truly remarkable. Here we are in the third quarter, just underway. The Broncos leading the 49ers 14-3. Second down and 10, Denver. Elway tried to get it out to the wide receiver. Vance Johnson unable to come down, and he was shaken up.
I'll tell you, this 49er defensive line must have got a tongue lashing at halftime, because on these 2 past plays, it's the first time all night that they put some pressure on Elway.
And it was Todd Shell and Dwight Hicks out there to hammer the intended receiver, Vance Johnson.
Well, they certainly, speaking of San Francisco defense, they certainly don't look as good as they were last year when they beat the Dolphins in the Super Bowl.
Butch Johnson is split to the left as wide receiver. There are 4 of them in there now. Third down and 10. Elway under pressure again. He has to throw down the way. And Elway is decked by Dwayne Board just as he releases it. 3 times now. Here in the third quarter, Elway has been pressured.
Well, that time Jeff Fuller came with a safety blitz from the outside. Elway knew exactly where he had to go with the football, but he was forced to throw it too early.
The 49ers have not been returning punts well this year, and they have one of the great ones in the game. It's Dana McLemore. Chris Norman to punt for Denver. Norman catches a beauty, hangs it high. McLemore had the call for the fair catch and covers at the 32-yard line. Not a lot of distance on that, but Norman will get close to his league-leading net. That one nets out at 36 yards. The 49ers will have their first possession here in the chilly 20-degree evening here in Denver, Colorado. Hard-hitting football game, the San Francisco 49ers and the Denver Broncos. The Broncos outplaying the 49ers, particularly on defense in the first half. Let's take a look at the scoring summary. John Elway opened the scoring with a shot to Gene Lang from 3 yards out. He had picked up a critical first down on a pass to Steve Watson. Then it was Ray Wersching who hit the field goal from in close at 26 yards, and then John Elway hit Steve Watson from 6 yards out to put the Broncos on top 14-3. But the 49ers went on 4th and goal to go at the 1. They were held short of that, and that really has stoked up this Denver Bronco defense. 49ers, they have a first down and 10, the ball at their own 32-yard line. 12:39 remaining in the third quarter. Play action. Montana puts it up. It's Mike Wilson. And Wilson holds on to it down at the 21-yard line. Wilson was wide open. He had got inside of Mike Harden. Montana just laid it up, and Wilson ran under it.
Right, he got inside of Mike Harden and left of Tony Hill. He split Tony Hill and Mike Harden with a simple go pattern. Nice play action pace by Montana, and he just threw a beautiful pass here. What trajectory. Dropped it right off the top.
And if there's any weakness in Joe Montana's game, it is throwing this particular pass. He does not throw it up that
Wilson's
well.
4th reception of the year. Gives the 49ers a first down at the 29-yard line. And Craig pounds inside the 20-yard line. He'll get about 6 out of that. It'll bring up a second down and 4, and we're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations all along the line to identify themselves.
This is Channel 7, KABC TV, Los Angeles.
The 49ers dearly would love to put something on the board in this opening possession here in the second half. They trail 14-3. Roger Craig. A lot of room on the outside. Good defensive effort over on the left side. Denver Broncos have been playing superb defense, but Roger Craig was able to get outside. Dennis Smith stopping him, but Craig gets the first down.
So far this half, the way the 49ers have played on defense and now on offense, Joe, I don't think we would want Jessica Grace or Sidney Brook to have heard, rather, what Bill Walsh said to these guys.
You've been in there, O.J. You played for Bill Walsh in '79. What happened in there?
I'm glad my daughter, Joe's daughter, wasn't around to hear it.
That's not what I asked. First and 10. Montana. A shot. It's Wilson. Touchdown, Mike Wilson. A few moments ago, he caught only his 4th pass of the season. This is his 5th of the season. And he puts the 49ers well back in it on their first possession here in the second half. And let's look again. A good shot by Montana.
Beautifully timed pass play as well, and Montana sticks it right in there where he has to.
Tom Jackson is 57. Tom Lilly is 22. Montana and Wilson timed it out beautifully. They had it right between them. Wersching for the conversion. And now, a different football game. The 49ers have 10 on the board. They trail by 4. And there's Mike Wilson. Would start for a lot of teams as an outside receiver. Niners, at least in the opening moments here in the second half, have looked like a different football team. I'd like to wish one of our good old boys, our cameraman Steve Nikifor, is home ill and is home in Long Island, New York. All of us send him our very best, and we want to get him back very quickly. Great bunch of guys that travel week by week to bring you these games. Steve, of course, one of them, and we miss him. We know we'll have him back soon. Wersching the kickoff. Vance Johnson is deep along with Gene Lang. Here's Gene Lang. Good running by Lang. He broke the tackle at the 17-yard line and gets out close to the 25. There'll be some hitting going on next week down in the nation's capital when we bring you 5-5. The Giants are 7-3 and Dallas is 7-3. Once again, these Broncos with a win tonight will take sole possession of first place in the AFC Western Division. First and 10. Denver near their own 25. Elway puts one up. A lot of pumping and pushing. That was picked off by Dwight Hicks. And then it goes into the arms of Ronnie Lott. Vance Johnson was being covered by Dwight Hicks. He got the ball away from Vance Johnson, bounced out of his arms into the arms of Ronnie Lott, and the 49ers get another turnover.
What really makes this interception happen is right here, the defensive pressure. They get back to John Elway, and he can't get enough on the football. You see, he underthrows this ball severely. Johnson should have caught the football right there, but Ronnie Lott makes a nice rebound catch and a good run back.
Lott brings it all the way back to the 40-yard line of Denver. New line for the 49ers. They struggled in the first half. That's Derek Harmon on the move, and this is Roger Craig. Craig turns the corner, and can he accelerate? He picks up 9, gets down to the 31-yard line. There's Ronnie Lott, one of the best in the business at the corner, but they're playing the Lott at safety. He got that interception from the safety position, and this is what Joe Namath was talking about. Watch Michael Carter just tossing aside Bill Bryan, the center, number 64, and banging in to Winder, and gets right in the face of Elway, and from such plays by the line are interceptions made. 2nd and 1. Harmon inside. And Harmon, who made a terrific block a moment ago for Roger Craig on a 9-yard run, gets him down to the 21-yard line. Plenty of first down yardage. Harmon, starting tonight for an injured Wendell Tyler, out with a very sore knee and ankle. Pair of tight ends now for the 49ers, John Frank and Russ Francis. The wide receivers are Wilson, 85, and Fred Solomon. The draw to Roger Craig. And Craig to the 15-yard line. Different football team, O.J.
Totally
Tell
different.
us what he said at halftime. You've been in there.
Yeah, look at that graphic right there. Well, that's part of it. I tell you one thing. Bill Walsh normally will deal with his team with humor and logic. Now, it's rare that his players will ever see him mad. Now, when he went for the touchdown on 4th down, I knew he was mad. When he didn't get it, I knew he was furious. And I think for one of the few times the team saw him furious in the locker room.
It's like dealing with a mule. When logic doesn't work, hit him in the head. 2nd and 4. Craig breaks the tackle. Inside the 10. He'll have first down yardage again. It'll be first down. Goal to go for the 49ers. Carl Mecklenburg defensively as tempers flare just briefly on the field.
Hey, Craig picks his legs up, kicks those knees up higher than anyone I've ever seen.
Yeah, well, they say churning. You know, every team doing training camp, you work on the ropes. And you run through these ropes, and the whole purpose of that is to try to get that high knee action, so when you're running through traffic, you don't trip over arms and legs. And evidently, in his career, he's spent a lot of time running through ropes.
Well, it's certainly paying off.
First down, goal to go. Craig at 97 yards on the night. Good cutback by Craig. There was nothing at all to the outside. He would have lost yardage. He breaks it to the inside. He'll get 3 yards down to the 5-yard line.
And the difference between that run and the whole first half is that the 49ers won the battle at the line of scrimmage and gave Craig the option to cut back and get a few yards.
Craig is so consistent. He is, of course, the leader from the line of scrimmage in the NFL through 9 games, but that's only the 2nd time now Craig has gone over 100 yards in his career, or has reached 100 yards. The 2nd down, goal to go. That's Francis, 81, on the move. Montana tried to slide it into Dwight Clark. The defensive play was made by Mark Harden, who was all over Dwight Clark. And in years gone by, would that have been pass interference?
Yeah, I think so. Harden did a heck of a job. Clark fights to the inside. It's a well-thrown pass, but Harden jumps all over him right here, and that should have been interference. He hit him before the ball got there.
That might have been pass interference yesterday. You got to play him tight down there. And Harden really played him tight. Earlier in the 2nd quarter, the 49ers had a first down, goal to go inside the 5, and they were held on 4 consecutive downs. This is 3rd down, goal to go. Derek Harmon. He'll lose about a yard. It'll be 4th down. Tony Lilly came up from the free safety. Tony Lilly, who has performed so well for a missing Steve Foley over the past few weeks. He made the stop, and out comes the field goal unit for the 49ers. Pershing has already hit tonight. From 26 yards out. A snowball perhaps interfered with another attempt from in close. He is also now the all-time 49er scoring leader. Wersching slides, falls. And the 49ers this time do not go on their fourth down, but they close the game to within 1 point with 7:28 remaining in the third quarter. The 49ers now have been inside the 10-yard line 4 times. They have been able to put on the scoreboard only 6 points. Again, there'll be a long, hard look at the films this week. And credit a strong performance by Joe Collier's defensive unit. They have been superb, deep in their own territory. 49ers, onside kick, and first it was Cooper, but the 49ers have it back. Who's at the bottom of the pile? A flag is down, however.
The 49ers grabbed the ball before it went 10 yards. I believe it may have been Dana McLemore.
Well, I don't know that that's such a good call. It seemed the momentum of this game has shifted over to San Francisco's side. Now, why give the momentum back to Denver?
Dana McLemore came up with the ball. It was Cooper who touched it first. And he had to travel 10 before he could touch it.
There are 2 fouls. Illegally touching with a kick by the kicking team and offside by the kicking team. 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
And they will re-kick because they did come down with it. Dana McLemore had the possession. Cooper touched it early, but it did not matter because the 49ers were offsides. And I'll tell you, that is a funny kind of a call, because if it does not work, you give Denver all kinds of opportunity right at midfield.
That's right. You take away the momentum that you built in the second half.
Hey, you know, sometime a game will reach the point where, like a fight, it's a street fight. And I think Bill Walsh saying, okay, you want to play? You want to play rough? Well, let's just go and play some football. They're doing everything out here tonight.
Yeah, but Bill doesn't have to get out on the field, you see.
Well, he's going to get the heat when it's over.
What that graphic leaves out are 2 Super Bowl champions after the '81 season. And, of course, this past year in Super Bowl 19 over Miami. 5-yard penalty, and Wersching will put the ball in play from the 30-yard line. And Vance Johnson and Gene Lang move up to their 5-yard line. Vance Johnson, the speedster. Johnson with a fine return out to the 34-yard line. Freddie Solomon, working on the special teams for the 49ers, made the stop. And in the days of the 49-man roster, Solomon would not have been out there.
Freddie's having a bad year this year. He's not caught very many balls. I don't think he scored yet this season at all.
I'll tell you an interesting thing about Freddie Solomon. I've watched the 49ers on 3 occasions, and I bet at least 4 times Freddie at a key point of the game had his man beat for a touchdown, and Joe just did not get the football to him.
That's Carl Mecklenburg. He has a cut over the eye. We'll get a report on that, but I would kind of give you a bet he'll be back in there, and very shortly. This up dude, Mecklenburg. He started tonight. Dan Reeves in. Well, we just can't keep him out of there anymore. He'd been filling in at all the linebacker positions, and as a down lineman, he started tonight. Broncos, 1st and 10. The ball at their own 34-yard line. Elway. This is Sampson. Spins back inside. Gets 2, maybe 3, out to the 37-yard line before he's upended by Keena Turner.
From an ego point of view, when you try to throw a hitch pass on a cornerbacks, Joe, I think take that personally.
They sure do.
They really do. And I know the first time they ran it, Dwight Hicks came up and really tried to lay it on, at the time, Vance Johnson.
2nd down, 7. Away again. And Vance Johnson comes down with it. He'll have the 1st down just shy of the 45-yard line. And again, it's Dwight Hicks. Ordinarily, a free safety. O.J. talked about it in the first half. He's working on the corner. That's not where he's been working in the past. Ronnie Lott has been moved over to safety.
Yeah, well, you know, as a quarterback, I believe in taking their next quarterback anyway, taking advantage of these matchups. That's what football's about. You try and get your best people on their people that can't cover. And right now, as we've been saying, he's a free safety. What's he doing at the corner?
Well, you know they're going to run a hitch and go on him before this game is over.
Dwight Hicks is still off about 10 yards of Vance Johnson. pressure. Elway tries to get it to Vance Johnson, who came back to give him a target. Elway broke the tackle of John Hardy. Good athlete. Saves the sack. It'll be 2nd down and 10. This is what I meant a moment ago. Hicks is a good 11 yards off.
Yes, but he's going to roll up into a zone coverage, and this is what fooled John Elway this last time, because John couldn't find a receiver. They helped Hicks with deep support on the inside.
Yeah, this game is a game of moves and counter moves, and I think what they were trying to do is hope they would throw the Hicks pass on that play, and Hicks would have been in the end zone going the other way.
2nd and 10. The blitz is coming. And Elway eases out of the pocket. Look back to Sammy Winder, and he is unable to hold on to it at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and 10. Keena Turner was defending Sammy Winder. They continue to work on Mecklenburg on the sidelines. And unless that cut is where the harness of the headgear will be rubbing on it constantly, we would suspect that Mecklenburg will be back.
Well, the momentum of this game certainly has changed, and this is a very big play for Denver. If they don't get the 1st down this time, they give the ball back to San Francisco, and San Francisco is wound up.
Watson and Sampson are split to the right. Vance Johnson is in the slot to the left. Elway has a wide open field. And Elway is hit again as he went out of bounds by Keena Turner, but he has a 1st down yardage.
I thought he was hit a little late that time.
Yeah, I would say on that play he was hit out of bounds, and it should have been a flag.
Elway had a wide open field, and he just spotted the 1st down marker. Got a bit of a block from Steve Watson, but it did give him enough area to get the 1st down. And Keena Turner made a good play on it. And you sort of sense that he had, because that happened right in front of the Bronco bench. Had it been a little out of line, Keena Turner might have got some action from the players on the sideline. 5:31 remaining in the 3rd quarter. 1-point ball game. The Broncos over the 49ers 14-3. The 1st down is near the 44-yard line of the 49ers. Sammy Winder, and he turns right into Ronnie Lott. And he's down at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Once again, college football coming to your way this weekend. What a big one we have for you. It'll begin at 3 o'clock Eastern time with college football today. But undefeated. He's a great blocker. He has sure hands. And when Elway goes to the tight end, Joe, you better have sure hands, because he put something on it.
He has a lot of heat on his passes. Clarence K from Seneca, South Carolina, was an outstanding blocker in college. He didn't catch many passes at Georgia, but he shows he has good hands right here.
First reception of the night, his 15th of the season. They think he is one of the best blocking tight ends in football. And he gives Denver a 1st down to the 27-yard line. Wilhite is in there at setback now for the Broncos, number 47. Here comes the blitz. Elway gets it crossed up with the rookie Vance Johnson, and I think the way you saw Vance Johnson grab his head, you knew who was responsible.
That is exactly right.
They both should have read it, Joe. You know that. The blitz was on. He should have been applied.
Right. He ran about 10 yards, and then he hesitated and stopped, and John didn't read it. I'm sure John wasn't expecting that. And you might have to point the finger at the rookie in that case.
2nd down and 10. 4:04 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Broncos at the 27-yard line of the 49ers. Gene Lang to the 10-yard line. Superb call. 2nd and long yardage. The draw play. And Lang makes the most of it.
And watch Keith Bishop and Billy Bryan, the center and left guard. They do a good job of blocking here and opening up that hole.
The blitz was on. And when you can pop a draw against the blitz, you'll get big yardage, and Lang did. It'll be 1st down, goal to go. Denver inside the 10. Out to the left goes Watson. Vance Johnson goes to the right. Wilhite. And Gerald Wilhite inside the 5 to the 3 before he's upended by Keena Turner.
Well, Dwayne Boyd almost made an excellent play on that play. He got his hand on Wilhite. But Wilhite did a good job of shaking him off. And one thing a great back will do for you, when he gets down near the goal line, he'll turn upfield and get as many yards as he can. And Wilhite covered the ball up and got about 4 or 5 yards instead of just worrying about running out of bounds.
Super football game. The 49ers were on the ropes in the first half. They came back to close it to within 1 point. Now Denver is coming back. They are threatening. Second down, goal to go. 3 tight ends are in. That's one of them on the move, Mike Barber. Wilhite upended. Depending upon where they mark it, it will be between the 2 and the 3. Michael Carter, who's playing a super football game for the Niners tonight, is at the bottom of that pile, and he's slow getting up.
They're using Jim Farnhurst in their linebacker too this second half, San Francisco is, and he came in hard from the outside that time and helped break up that play.
They also got Manu Tuiasosopo in there, and he's a little quicker than Carter, not as strong, and he's been getting to pretty decent penetration up the middle. He's number 78.
Third down, goal to go. Wilhite again. They will not give it to him. It'll be 4th down and inches. So now, decision time for head coach Dan Reeves. And they'll go for it. Not even a moment of hesitation.
Yeah. As I said, this is a street fight now. They're talking about each other's parents and everything at this point.
They also believe that if they don't make it, their defense is going to hold the 49ers from the 1-foot line. Get the ball back in good field position and have another opportunity to score.
75,000 plus, and they're on their feet here at Mile High Stadium. 4th down, goal to go. 13th play of this drive. It started at the Broncos' 34-yard line. I don't believe he made it. No, they'll mark it inside the 1, but now the 49ers have held. Broncos had a 1st down, goal to go inside the 10.
Well, now it seems as if we're looking at 2 teams that were, one was 13-3 and the other one was 15-1 last year, and it appears to be that type of game right now.
It has been back and forth, and it's a 1-point ball game with 1:03 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Stomach.
Newprint from Bristol.
Back at Mile High Stadium, this crowd on their feet and chanting defense. Montana fires from the end zone, hanging it up for Rice. And Rice and Harden collided. There are no flags.
Yeah, but I like the idea of throwing the football back here. As long as he has protection, they don't get the holding penalty in the end zone for the safety. He had a chance for the 99-yarder here.
If they don't bump, I think Rice probably would have got it. He does not have exceptional speed. He has good speed, and Montana had it there.
Montana may come right back with about a 15-yard out pattern to this side.
2nd down and 9. Roger Craig, and he drops the ball, incomplete. Ken Woodard was offering the coverage out there. Let's go back. This is 4th down, less than a yard to go. The Broncos in possession. Dan Reeves saying to Bill Walsh, I'll go. Also on 4th down, Sammy Winder, as you see from the reverse angle, is hit by Ronnie Lott first and held short of the touchdown. So now each team has been held out of the end zone on 4th down and short after having a 1st down and goal to go inside the 10. 3rd down and 10. Wilson has split left. There are 2 tight ends in. Roger Craig. He knew he had to get it out of the end zone to avoid the 2 points. And now the pressure will fall on the punting unit. Max Runiger, who in the 1st quarter had a difficult time with a 1-yard effort. And he has to be very careful. He does not stand out of the back of that end zone. A bad snap could force him out of the end zone and we'd have a safety. As it is, he'll have to punt more quickly than he ordinarily would because he cannot take his full drop on a spread punt. As you can see, the 49ers do not have anyone on the outside. And Runiger gets off a great kick. Vance Johnson from his 48-yard line. in the tackle at the 45-yard line on a 49-yard punt under pressure by Max Runiger. Ron Ferrari down there to make the stop. So the Broncos will have good field position in the AFC East Western Division. San Francisco 49ers, they're 5-4. They're chasing the Los Angeles Rams in their Western Division of the NFC. It's been a seesaw game in terms of momentum. The Broncos having most of it through the first half, and the 49ers roared out in the third quarter. And right now we have a 14-13 game with the Broncos at 1st and 10 at the 49ers 45-yard line. Elway back. Again, a lot of time. And a wide open receiver is Vance Johnson. Elway put the pressure on the cornerback, the zone coverage. The underneath man had to come up and play the run. Vance Johnson came back. He gets the first down near the 31-yard line. And that's the end of the third quarter. We're glad you're with us. We hope you're enjoying tonight's game between the Denver Broncos and the San Francisco 49ers. It's been a beauty. 20-degree temperature here in Denver. A capacity crowd of 75,000 plus. They are really into it. Partisan Denver Bronco fans. 13-3 with the Broncos a year ago. The 49ers, defending Super Bowl champions with a 15-1 record. Playoff victories over the Giants, the Bears, and of course the stunning upset of the Miami Dolphins. Right now, as we begin the fourth quarter, the Broncos have the football. It's 1st down and 10. They're at the 31-yard line of the 49ers. And the Broncos lead it 14-13. Elway wants Watson. And Watson with good coverage by the cornerback, Eric Wright. Elway tried to squeeze it in there, but it was good coverage by Wright. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Arguably the best defensive back of that secondary that all went to the Pro Bowl, all 4 of them. Eric Wright went to the Pro Bowl a year ago because the Giants, Mike Haynes, couldn't go because of an injury. At one point, Ronnie Lott said he wasn't going to go after he was elected if Eric Wright didn't go. As it turned out, they all went. 2nd and 10. Elway hit as he releases the ball. It was Dwayne Board coming all the way around and really popped Elway. It'll bring up 3rd down and 10. But Board is injured, it appears. Very slow getting up.
Well, Board is one of the few defensive players on this 49er team that really never leaves the football field, and I just think he's a little tired right now.
It's been a brutal football game. It really has, in 20-degree temperature. We have been told that Sammy Winder will not return. Bruised right hip. 1,000-yard rusher of a year ago for the Broncos. Got a good first half, and early into the third quarter was running well. Dave Stutter, the left tackle, is out of the lineup for the Broncos. 3rd and 10. It was Elway getting it to Watson one more time, and again, good coverage. It'll be 4th down. In Denver, can Carlos reach it? That's the question. His career best is 50 yards. This will be about a 47-yard effort. Very steady kicker. He is 18 of 27. Of his 9 misses, 4 were 50 yards or more. So they rely on him to put it up there about 50 yards. Last year in consecutive games against Seattle and Kansas City, he had a tie kicking effort hit the crossbar. A lot of distance. But he hooks it left. And the 49ers will get the ball back at the line of scrimmage, the 31-yard line. Carlos misses from 47 yards out.
The kind of car that brings the road alive.
You earn it all in this game of pro football. That's Mecklenburg. Perhaps 8 or 10 minutes ago. He's back in the lineup, a big patch. I don't know how they'll avoid the helmet from coming down and ripping that open once again, but he's back in the lineup. 1st down and 10. The 49ers at their own 31-yard line. 14:40 remaining in the game. The 49ers trail by 1. Harmon, and he is pounded. Rulon Jones. What a hit. Rulon Jones working against Bubba Paris, number 77. Watch him.
And Denver is back to the 4-down lineman defensive front.
A loss of about a half a yard. Let's still call it 2nd down and 10. Seesaw game emotionally. Earl Cooper took his eyes off that one. That could have turned into a 49er first down close to midfield.
Well, Earl Cooper has been in a little disfavor with Bill Walsh this year. They had a final drive against Detroit, a game that they could have won, and he had 2 drops on that final drive. And that's a ball he could have caught. And, of course, you recall a catch in the end zone. If he would have caught it cleanly, would have been a touchdown earlier in this game.
3rd down, 10. You'll hear the crowd get into it. Stadium is rocking. Montana was hurried. It's incomplete. The attempt at Dwight Clark, and the 49ers will have to punt.
Very often say it that the defensive front doesn't have to tackle the quarterback with the ball as long as they can put pressure on him. Hurry him, make him throw the pass before he's ready, before his receiver's ready.
And look at Mecklenburg. He's in his face after seeing his own blood. I know if I saw my own blood, I may not have played as hard.
Runninger to punt. Vance Johnson is back for Denver. Not a good kick. High, does not turn over, and it takes a Denver bounce and immediately killed at the 41-yard line. But Denver now has it in good field position on a 29-yard effort from Max Runninger. A reminder.
I busted my head and was blood, and the trainer told me it wasn't too bad. I say, hey, you give me a mirror. You let me look at it.
Willite is set back. Sammy Winder will not be back tonight. A bruised right hip. Willite running well out of the 45-yard line. He'll get 4 out of it. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Jim Fonhorst at linebacker was over there to make the stop. Brother of Keith Fonhorst, the offensive tackle, who had a little bit of a run-in with Bill Walsh last week when he didn't start against Philadelphia. They opened with Guy McIntyre. That upset Keith Fonhorst. He missed a day of practice. Those kinds of things happen when you're about 500 midway through the season. We're 2nd down and 6. And the big tight end gets the first down inside the 45-yard line of the 49ers.
That was a terrific job by John Elway just getting the ball out to Clarence Kay. He really was off balance. That was quite a pass.
Mecklenburg on the sideline.
Those defensive players, Joe, they can bleed, and hey, they don't even think about it.
I have never met a defensive player that was playing with a full deck.
Wait a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey, Frank played good defense.
I was going to point that out. Give us a half a deck at least. On 1st down. Elway rifles it out to the rookie, Vance Johnson.
I believe with a little better effort, Vance could have gotten a couple of more yards that time.
Johnson will get about 3 out of that. We'll bring up 2nd down and 7. Good defensive effort over there on the left side by Eric Wright.
It's surprising that Eric was able to hold him to 4.5 yards because he was playing 10 yards off Johnson, and when the ball was snapped, he dropped back another 5 yards.
Vance ran out of bounds. That's what I couldn't figure.
2nd down and 6. Willite to the 38-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 3. Hit there by Jim Stuckey. Elway thus far is 17 of 34, 193 yards, a couple of touchdowns, 1 interception. A typical Elway game and a typical Bronco game. They keep pounding, they keep hitting, and all of a sudden you get down to the final minutes, and so many times it's come down to overtime and the final couple plays of the game. That is, if you erase last week's loss 30-10 to the Chargers, who really are on the move in the AFC West. Great defensive play. Eric Wright. They say with the 49ers that he's the best man-to-man defensive back on the team, and you saw a good example of it there. We saw it in the Super Bowl. This is absolutely brilliant. He had to catch Clint Sampson.
Well, one of the reasons you don't hear his name so much is that they just don't throw to his side. They rather try Ronnie Lotta or Hicks or any of the other guys. They tend to stay away from Eric Wright.
Some people felt like he's having an off year since he only has 1 interception on the season. But watching him tonight, he sure looks like he's playing a good game to me.
Chris Norman is on to punt. Looking for the left sideline. And they walk it off, and Norman gets a beauty. They mark it close to the 3-yard line. 10:49 remaining in a hard-hitting football game. In a moment. Montana came into tonight's game passing it over 62%. Thus far, this is the lowest percentage game Montana has ever had. A few weeks ago against New Orleans, he passed for 46%. That was the previous low. And a few weeks before that, he destroyed Atlanta with 37 of 57 and 65% and 5 touchdowns. This is a very fickle game. From the 4-yard line, 1st and 10, 49ers. Wide open is Wes Francis. Francis sprawls out over the 25 to the 27 for a 49er first down. Was he ever open?
We were wondering earlier what happened to the 49er tight ends, huh, Joe?
That's right. Hadn't heard his name all night. He didn't catch a pass all night either.
Clock continues to move, heading down to 10 minutes here in the 4th period. 49ers desperately need this one to stay within 2 of the Los Angeles Rams in the Western Division of the NFC. Montana rushed again. Fires it and fires it complete. Short of first down yardage is Dwight Clark. It'll be 2nd down and 2. This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. 2nd and 2. 49ers near their own 37-yard line. Denver drops into a 4-down line punt. And Roger Craig exploits it, drops the ball at the 45, and it's loose. And they're saying now that Roger Craig was down at the 45-yard line. It'll be another 49er first down.
Well, even if he wasn't, Mike Wilson was playing heads-up ball downfield, and it appeared as if he would have come up with the fumble.
Over the right side, good work by Randy Cross, Keith Farnhorst. Big opening, and coughing it up at the 45-yard line, but after he was down is Roger Craig.
You know, one thing I'm impressed with Joe Montana is the fact that he's only had 6 interceptions this entire season. Now, I know he's only completing 20-some% of his passes tonight, but he hasn't completed 1 for the Denver Broncos yet, so he's keeping this low interception rate intact.
Jinx, jinx, jinx.
Montana on first down. The blitz was on, and Jerry Rice was wide open, and he gets the completion. He's in Denver territory near the 42-yard line. A 12-yard pickup. Good blocking for Montana. And this is single coverage by Steve Wilson. He knows he's covering the rookie speedster. Man for man. He has no help whatsoever. He lays way off. Montana fires it in. They've marked it now just inside the 44-yard line. Rice now 3 receptions, 52 yards. First down pass again, and again intended for Rice. Louis Wright was the defender. And like his counterpart, Eric Wright, on the Broncos, they stay away from Louis Wright, and they've been doing it for 11 years. He's a great defensive cornerback.
Hey, he's covered like he's really covered here, so Joe just simply does throw the ball away. But I would be throwing the other way towards Steve Wilson. Steve Wilson's not their regular starter. Mike Harden is, and Harden's not in the game. Why not throw at the second stringer or the backup guy?
Defensive backs are getting a major break in 1985.
Yeah, on that last play, he turned his head around, put his hand up, and ran into the receiver.
Not much they can't do anymore. I don't think, however, that ball is even catchable.
Freddie Solomon's in the game.
2nd and 10. Roger Craig. Flag is down. One of the rare ones we've seen tonight. As Craig saved a loss, gets to the outside, and picks up a couple of yards. And the preliminary indication is that it will be against the 49ers and holding. Quiet night for Gene Tunney, or rather Jim Tunney and his crew. Only the second penalty of the night.
It's a tough penalty because even though it would have been third down, one medium completed pass, the 49ers would have been in field goal range. And, of course, all they need is a field goal to take the lead.
And this field position is going back and forth, back and forth. It's a good football game.
77, 10 yards. Still second down.
The lead blocker on the play over the left side, Bubba Paris. Down will remain the same. But the 49ers will be backed up to their own 47-yard line. This drive started at the 49ers' 3-yard line. And they have just suffered a major setback. Bill Walsh sends in 4 wide receivers. Solomon is in there with Jerry Rice, Mike Wilson, Dwight Clark.
Now let's see what Denver do to counteract that. I'd go with the 5-down linemen. The way my corners are covering, I think they probably couldn't get away with it.
Second and 20. Once before, long yardage, 4 wide receivers. The 49ers came at the draw play to Roger Craig. This time they'll put it up. Should have been picked off by Louis Wright, and he knows it. They tried to squeeze it in. Did Joe Montana to Jerry Rice, and the 49ers were fortunate that ball was not intercepted.
Well, I don't know what Joe was looking at that time, but he certainly threw in the coverage. He got lucky. It should have been an interception.
Third down and 20. Broncos have 6 defensive backs on the field. Tough to find the open receiver. They'll give you a bunch of it, but they won't give you 20 on third down. Montana throws underneath. And Harmon is hit just as he catches the ball at the 45-yard line. Well short of a possible first down. Steve Foley is there defensively on this very first day after being activated only this afternoon. Foley missing much of the early going with a dislocated shoulder. Runninger out once again for the 49ers. Gerald Wilhite is back for Denver. Fair catch called for by Wilhite, and a good move by Wilhite out of the 18-yard line. Denver gets it back with a 1-point lead with 7:16 remaining in the game. We'll be back at Mile High Stadium in Denver in just a moment. Back at Mile High Stadium, and we'll be in the nation's capital next Monday night for the Redskins and the New York Giants. Meanwhile, we have a beauty going on here in Denver. The Broncos with a 1-point lead, 7:16 remaining in the game, have a 1st and 10. The ball at their own 19-yard line. Wilhite, with Sammy Winder injured, remains as the setback for the Broncos. Draw play, Wilhite. And he just explodes out over the 25-yard line near the 26 for a gain of almost 7. It'll be 2nd down and 3. Coming into tonight, Wilhite had only carried the ball 21 times as Winder had done most of the work through the first half of the season. Only had 79 yards into tonight's game, did Gerald Wilhite. Second down, a long 3, and they are going to attend to James Wright, the big tight end, being helped off the field. And we're set to go. Elway, 17 of 35, 193 yards, a couple of touchdowns, 1 interception. And he has made the big plays when he's had to make them. Wilhite hit at the line of scrimmage and just squirms for about a yard and a half. Short of the first down, it'll be 3rd down and a long 1 in the arms of Michael Walter.
Well, you can tell by those last 2 runs that if Wilhite was given the opportunity to run the ball more often, he would be a very effective runner. He was obviously before Sammy Winder came here, but normally they'll put him in the game doing passing situations, and that's why he hasn't carried the ball that much.
Wilhite was a former first-round draft pick back in '82. Winder was a 5th-round draft pick in '82. 2 also. They did well in the 82 draft. 3rd down and 1. Elway had to hurry. Tried to get it to Mike Barber. Todd Shell was pressuring him. And down he went just as he delivered the ball. And the 49ers will get it back.
I don't believe that. I thought Barber got knocked to the ground that time. It looked like pass interference to me. That was a great defensive effort by the San Francisco 49ers. What that just accomplished, I think it's going to give them good field position here. And time is winding down. We only have 5:41 left. Now, we're not going to get a look at Barber.
That's Todd Shell, number 90.
But there, he's on the ground. What is this?
It was Elway just having to throw it. Norman to punt. Dana McLemore is at the 49ers 30-yard line. He'll have to settle back to the 25. Turns it inside, gets out to the 37-yard line. So the 49ers, with 5:30 remaining in the game and trailing by 1, have good field position. That was a 47-yard punt by Chris Norman. The final word to Mr. Cool, Joe Montana.
Well, this is normally, we're getting down to showtime for the 49ers. The difference between this year's team and previous teams is at this time in the game, this is when the 49ers were at their best. They just wanted the ball last. They thought they could win. They've made crucial mistakes this year on final drives that has cost them football games.
5:30 remaining. Plenty of time. Montana checks off to Roger Craig. Roger Craig breaks the tackle. And he'll have a 1st down near midfield. Ken Woodard was right out there with him. He had great position on Roger Craig. And Roger Craig is just one exceptional football player. He pulls right out of the arms of Ken Woodard.
Well, Joe Montana's a little late. He wanted to go to Freddie Solomon, who was open on a slant pattern. He went to Roger Craig, and once again, here's a guy that spends a lot of time working on his leg motion, and he does an excellent job of breaking the tackle and getting upfield.
Roger Craig is not hurting himself in his NFL leading yards from scrimmage tonight. He has 128 yards receiving and rushing. On 1st down. Montana. Bryce is wide open. And the rookie 1st-round pick out of Mississippi Valley State will have another 49er 1st down at the 33-yard line. The 49ers are on the move. We're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations to identify themselves.
This is Channel 7, KABC TV, Los Angeles.
We hope you've been with us, but if you have not, an important game for the 49ers, 5-4 in the Western Division of the NFC. A key game for Denver, 6-3. They can take sole possession of the lead in the Western Division of the AFC. With 5:16 remaining, the 49ers trail by 1 point in a seesaw game. It is 14-13 Denver. Roger Craig works the middle. Squeezes out a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8 at the 32-yard line.
Boy, in this day and age of high-scoring football games, the score's 14-13, and it's been one of the more wide-open, exciting football games I've seen in quite a while.
It sure has, but still a defensive struggle. That's what the Broncos are used to. Roger Craig, look at the night he's having again. Huh?
This guy will be the first NFL back, I think, this year to go over 100,000 yards, rather rushing and receiving.
But a Super Bowl game we watched him have, Roger Craig. 49ers, 2nd down and 8. Montana looking to Mike Wilson.
He should have been
underneath
looking for...
was Russ Francis wide open.
Jumping up and down.
He should have been looking for Russ Francis.
Russ will get a complex. Let's just watch him. Nobody bumped him off the line of scrimmage. He just cruised down there wide open. Not anyone even near him.
Yeah, they've just been ignoring the tight end all night.
3rd down and 8. Montana, 14 of 36. 218 yards, 1 touchdown. Dwight Clark, and he slips and goes down short of the 1st down. He's at the 27-yard line, about 4 yards short of the 1st down. It was Steve Wilson who hit Dwight Clark, who slipped and went down.
I tell you, though, that's a big 5-yard for Ray Wershing. That's a real big 5 yards for him tonight.
Wershing has hit earlier tonight from 26 yards out and from 22 yards out. He is not having a Ray Wershing year.
The difference between a 45-yard field goal and a 50-yard or 51-yarder.
From 45 yards. Spanked well. And the 49ers, for the first time tonight, have taken the lead.
Look at that bench. They're all coming out on the field.
Let me tell you, if that ball was from 50 yards, it wouldn't have made it.
There is affection. They know that Wersching has been struggling somewhat this year.
I hope they know this game isn't over.
3:46 remaining. So many times over the years, we've been involved in games with the Broncos where it always comes down to the wire. Here it is again. Kavanaugh with the perfect hole. Earlier, if you were with us, you saw Kavanaugh on a 22-yard attempt. Almost hit with a snowball. It splashed right in front of him, bobbled the ball, and they missed an opportunity from 3 points from inside the 10-yard line.
Well, the 49ers must be proud of their defense. They've shut out this Denver team in the second half, and it's down to 3 minutes and 46 seconds. Can they continue to play the ball they played since they've come out at halftime?
Perhaps it goes back to what we talked about in the third quarter. Bill Walsh at halftime. George Seifert, the defensive coordinator. There had to be a little chewing out going on in there. Appealing to pride, whatever it might be. The 49ers came out a different football team in the third quarter.
Sure have.
You know, being an ex-quarterback, I was never one to really get tired. I'm just wondering with this high altitude if it's going to affect these 49ers here late in the game. Conditioning-wise.
Wersching hits it. Here's Gene Lang. Good run back by Gene Lang. The 31-yard line hit there by Derek Harmon, who has seen a lot of action replacing an injured Wendell Tyler. You take a Wendell Tyler out of this lineup, then you have lost a great deal. Tyler set a 49er rushing record a year ago with over 1,200 yards. He's unable to go tonight because of a knee and ankle problem. There's Dan Reeves in his 5th year after coming here in 1980. First down, Denver. For the first time tonight, they trail. They trail by 2. Draw play. It's Will Height. He'll get a yard. One would have to suspect that Danny Reeves wanted to come early with the draw, keep that defensive line honest, make them think somewhat about the run as we look at Roger Craig on the sideline.
Certainly Mr. 49er in 1985. But Joe, do you think they're in a 4-down situation now? I mean, the clock is running down. There's almost just 3 minutes to go in the game. Do you think they'll give the 49ers the ball again?
I'd have to wait until after this series, but I believe you got a point there. This is a 4-down situation. They're getting mighty close to it.
There was movement, and it could have been Denver.
Yeah, Juice, we're down to
49ers moved in unison.
one thing in the 49ers' favor now. They have some fresh people in. You mentioned Gary Johnson and Fred Dean earlier. Well, they're in the game now. They are fresh. They have their pass defense unit in there.
Hey, this penalty hurts. Denver will be backed up 5. Illegal movement.
I still must believe no matter what the down and distance is on 4th down, Denver will not give up the ball again.
Keith Bishop over the left guard, moving early. It'll be 2nd down and 13.
Well, they have 3 timeouts left in the 2-minute warning, so again, we'll have to see what happens here.
Rookie Steve Sewell from Oklahoma, number 30. He's in the backfield for the Broncos. Good receiver, Sewell. He's in there with Gerald Wilhite, also a good receiver. Elway, a lot of time, tried to get it to Sewell. Threw it low, it's incomplete. There was good coverage. Jeff Fuller in that prevent defense of the 49ers was there. It'll be 3rd down, 13.
Well, we won't have to speculate much longer.
I really don't think they'll go for it. This is an incomplete pass with this much time left and 3 timeouts and 2-minute warning. I think they punt the ball at this stage.
No chance unless they get it up really close. Third and 13. Elway gets out of the traffic. Looking deep for Watson. And Dwight Hicks was being fooled by Watson. A flag now goes down. Steve Watson tried to work back very casually. Dwight Hicks did not even know the ball was coming, and he ran right into Watson. Now take a look at this. Watson plays this really cool. Elway now is back in the traffic, getting in trouble. Now Watson just casually, he'll look over his shoulder. Now he knows the ball right here is coming. And he just fools Hicks. Now he tries to play back into it, and he draws the penalty.
I didn't see much of the penalty.
I still didn't see the penalty. I still don't see it. He didn't have his hands up.
And Watson wasn't even going for the ball.
Watch it from the reverse angle.
Now, I don't see him putting his hands up in the guy's face.
And he's got his hands in there on the jersey. Watson made a really good move. Had Hicks thought that ball was coming, he could have turned around and intercepted it. Watson had him fooled all the way. Denver on the move. 1st and 10. Wow. Vance Johnson tries to one-hand it, and he pays for it.
Well, Juice, you can bet they're not going to punt now.
I'm a little surprised they're throwing the ball now. Now that they're in field goal range, I think I'd be running the ball, trying to force the 49ers to use up some of their timeouts. And, hey, I'm in field goal range. I can go ahead with a field goal.
Yeah, but it's a 47-yard kick.
Fringe of Carlos's field goal range. I can assure you that. His career best is 50 yards.
Well, 3 runs, and they, hey.
You're right.
Clock stop at 2:21.
But they'd still really rather get the first down, Frank. 2:21, you know, if they don't get the first down, they're going to get plenty of time for San Francisco to come back and score 2. So that's really what they're thinking. They want to get 7.
Elway calls timeout. So the Broncos are down to 2. Kens, 10. Ready to go. Broncos now 2 timeouts. Really admire this youngster when he runs out of time or it appears he's getting close. He's a superb athlete. He'll give you a thrill or two. He'll run all over the place, but he'll find a receiver. Full blitz on. Elway read it. He got knocked flat trying to get it out to Wilhite.
That was one beautiful call because Wilhite was out there. He had a guard in front of him. Billy Byron, they were all by themselves. If he'd have caught the ball, they'd have run in the end zone.
It'll be 3rd down and 10.
Again, that was a case where the defensive pressure forced the quarterback to throw the ball just a hair early, and that's why he missed him.
Well, on the sideline, there is a very nervous Rich Carlos. If they have to go from here, it will be about a 47-yard attempt.
They got to run it.
They could give him 4 or 5 yards. It would certainly be much easier. Don't take the loss. Ronnie Lott. Watson to the 10-yard line. Ronnie Lott had his hands on John Elway. What a strong arm to get that ball to Steve Watson.
All arms.
While running backwards, not even laterally, Elway was moving away from the line of scrimmage.
The 2-minute warning here at a delirious Mile High Stadium in Denver. The 49ers have a first down goal to go. Or the Broncos do. Your screen is Ronnie Lott. He comes on the blitz. No one is there. Elway, a great athlete. This is what you have to love about this youngster. Ronnie Lott is right there. Almost has his arms on him. Elway strong arms it to Watson, who is man for man because of the blitz. On the coverage was Torrey Nixon. And the Broncos, 3rd down and 10. They get a first down goal to go inside the 10 of the 49ers. 2 minutes remaining in the game. 49ers leading 16-14. Wilhite. There's a collision at the 11, and Wilhite, helmet off, sprawls back to the line of scrimmage. And that's all. Ricky Ellison there first.
Oh, I'm surprised the 49ers are not calling timeout. Here we go.
They're using 15 seconds.
Timeout.
And now the 49ers are down to 2 timeouts. This ABC's
49ers may be thinking about that field goal they didn't go for on 4th down earlier in the game. Bad snap. Well, that may have been a snowball.
And a snowball attack on the holder. Kavanaugh. 2nd and 10. Wilhite. 49ers will use quickly another timeout. Stops the clock at 1:38.
And somebody than he is if he's standing in the pocket with time. Only the real men.
You guys are all snapping off girls.
Well, the real men, I think.
There you go. The 3rd down, goal to go. Ball near the 5-yard line. That's the time remaining. 49ers have one timeout. Elway, this is Wilhite. And the 49ers quickly use that timeout, stop the clock with 1:31. And we'll see the field goal unit for San Francisco. And even should they make the field goal, which they should, the 49ers will have 1:31 remaining in the game, but no timeouts. And who better to have at the controls than Joe Montana?
Well, we could have Joe Namath out.
Well, we don't have a cinched field goal here yet either. We've seen some muffed snaps and muffed handling of the ball tonight. We saw a bad snap on the punt. So this game is, this field goal is certainly not a cinch.
Not a good night for an open-footed kicker either. It's a little frosty around here. They missed tonight from 48 yards out. This is considerably closer. It'll be a 25-yard attempt. Gary Kubiak is the holder. Keith Bishop is the snapper on the field goal unit.
I don't expect we'll see any snowballs.
Broncos retake the lead.
Good as gold.
Leaving nearly a minute and a half for the 49ers. What a strange life a kicker leads. Everyone loves him when he makes one. You miss one, hard to find a friend. And for Montana, 1:27 officially on the clock. He has no timeouts. Carlos has not kicked off well tonight on his kickoff. San Francisco is average getting the ball out to the 33-yard line. That would be indeed a help at this point. Carl Monroe, number 32, Derek Harmon are deep. It's a great crowd, it really is. Leave out 2 or 3 yo-yos with the snowballs. And they're great fans here in Denver. So expectant about Major League Baseball coming in the near future. So much has been talked about in the league meetings about Denver getting Major League Baseball. You have to believe it would be sensational here. Carlos. A beautiful kick by Carlos. Monroe thought about it, but that ball was too high. There could be no wedge formed, so Monroe probably made the right decision. Carlos, meanwhile, got hit. He was over on the left side, and the Denver Bronco players out of the field complaining bitterly. I did not see what happened, but Carlos twice now has been flattened on various plays.
Well, that was certainly a clutch kickoff. The man had to get a ball in the end zone. This was the time for him to do it.
Once earlier tonight, it was Carlos who saved perhaps a long 49er return at midfield when he tackled Carl Monroe. Ram game from San Francisco.
Well, the 49ers obviously would like to get the ball to their outside guys so they can get out of bounds, but I have a feeling, Joe, if they're going to move the ball down the field, they're going to find Russ Francis or someone who's lining up in that tight end position.
And we mentioned earlier, who better to have back there at quarterback than Joe Montana? Maybe Dan Fouts. Fouts is one of the best in the game as well.
First and 10. Draw play. Roger Craig. The play has been called. Of course, the next play, there will be no huddle. Mecklenburg, by the way, made that stop. What a game he's played tonight. Final seconds ticking down. Montana. Incomplete to Carl Monroe. It stops the clock at 1:04. Or brother Derek Harmon.
Very typical of what's been happening to the 49ers on final drives this year.
Third down and 5, which is almost meaningless at this point.
You want to bet they don't punt, Joe?
I don't think they'll punt. I'm really surprised that Russ Francis has only caught one pass tonight.
Again, and down goes Harmon. Ken Woodard defensively was there, and we perhaps are down to the last 49er down. There's a loss in the play at 3. It'll be 4th down and 8. And the clock continues to tick.
And they better hurry up or they may not get that 4th down play off.
Bernie Shavers wouldn't give him the ball.
Open field tackle. And a good one it was. Randy Robbins, who missed much of the season with a broken arm. He makes the tackle of Roger Craig. Denver gets the ball back. They'll have the victory. They will take over sole possession at first place in the AFC Western Division. 1 game ahead of the Raiders. 1 game ahead of Seattle. 2 games ahead of San Diego. The Chargers will be coming in here next Sunday. Hard-hitting game. We hope you were with us throughout the contest. It was a beauty. Denver defeats San Francisco 17-16. And there's pandemonium here at Mile High Stadium, where we'll return in just a moment. Start from Denver, the Broncos defeat San Francisco 17-16. Stay tuned for ABC News Nightline following your late local news.
Last Sunday at RFK Stadium, the NFL staged pro football's version of North and South. And while the Cowboys have had much success this season, Washington wasn't exactly prepared to